This video, I'm going to show you 3 ways that attachment is blocking money, love, and success from coming into your life, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do instead. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 ways that attachment is blocking money, love, and success from coming into your life, show you exactly what to do instead of having attachment. And I'm just going to share with you right out the gate, I've learning that the more I give up the need to control, the more I allow amazing things to happen. The more I'm in a higher vibrational state, and the more that then amazing things can come into my life. Now, as I've showed in many of the videos that I've done before, the goal shouldn't be to attract money, love, and success. The goal should first be to raise your level of consciousness, to raise your vibration. When I raised my vibrational set point years ago, it changed everything about me. It allowed me to then see how I could go full-time doing what I love. It allowed me to then connect to people at a much deeper and more profound level. But the thing is the way most people go about the law of attraction is they do it from a lower level of consciousness. Now understand that every single person listening to this video right now, and everyone in general, is a high vibrational being that has, in a way, forgotten that that's who we are. We are high vibrational, divine, spiritual beings. We exist in a high vibration. But what happens is when we come into this world, we forget that. We go through certain reference experiences. We have people that may tell us we're not very powerful, that may make us feel like we're inferior. You'll see the makeup commercials that show these perfect people, perceptual, the way that we should view people, at least the way that's propaganded to us. And the idea is that that's the way and what we think we're worthy of. But the truth is, we are high vibrational beings who has forgotten that this is who we actually are. So the key is having this remembrance that the goal is not to attract money, the goal is not to attract success, the goal is not to attract love. Because when you try to attract those things too, it's coming at it from a place of needing it, of wanting it, and that's from the paradigms of lack. So for example, this chart right here, you will see at the bottom, you'll see shame, fear, guilt, anger. Eventually you get to willingness, which is the color of my shirt. What do I mean by that? Willingness, the yellow. Yellow means like willpower, solar plexus. And the willingness is a powerful state to be in because normally it could be enough to move out of lower states of consciousness. And then eventually what you have is a level called acceptance. Acceptance is very powerful. And then you have the reasoning, which is the intellect of the mind. And with the intellect of the mind, you can then know beliefs create my reality. How can I change that? And then you have the higher vibrations of love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Now what I'm saying is that what we should be goaling ourselves to do is to get to a state of consciousness of love. Because when you're in a higher vibration of love, things attract yourself easier than ever. It's like things gravitate towards you. Money, love, and success. When you're in the love frequency, those things just gravitate towards you. What most people do is they're at the level of maybe anger for something that happened in the past. Maybe they want to find love because it'll make someone else jealous or because they think they're not already whole and complete. So it's coming at it from a paradigm of lack. Now, the key is to get to that higher vibration. Now, the reason I just shared all of this to you is the way that you get to these higher states of consciousness, that you attract things easier than ever. The way that you do it is not by being at, let's say, anger and then getting to willingness or getting to acceptance or neutrality. The key is to instead let go of the attachments that keep us in lower vibrational states. You see, this is the key. This is how attachment is blocking money, love, and success from your life. It's blocking you from perceiving of being in a high vibration that carries with it a reality that is equal to, remember, there's like these lenses that you wear, and everything you perceive in your life is equal to the vibration that you are currently at. When you change the lens that which you see the world, you then change what you experience. You change what you experience on the outside. Now, this right here is going to represent, in a way, the ego construct. The ego is what we use in physical reality to have a physical experience. Now what happens is we are high vibrational beings. We have this energy flowing through us, and it is a divine energy. But what happens is we filter it through our belief system, through our brain, our belief system, who we think we are, and then it gets a little bit muddled. And then it'll decrease our vibration. Now remember, the key to raising your vibration is letting go of attachments. Letting go of, like for example, what is called a positionality. Positionality is a perspective. We may have a perspective that this person did this to me in the past and they shouldn't have done it. That positionality, that attachment to that perspective keeps us in the vibration of anger. Then when you have anger about something, it is within your own energy field, even though you have it about this little person over here. I'm angry at them because they did something to you, and it may have been something very serious, or at least serious to the mind. But the idea is that when you think of that person, you cause this energy inside your energetic field, then you go out into the world and you experience more and more things equal to that disruption in your energy field. So you see, the key is clearing all of this out. Clearing all of this out by not being attached to that perspective, by reframing the meaning, which is also very powerful. So the first thing I want to share with you is that the first attachment, the first way that attachment is blocking money, love, and success into your life is that there is a need to be right. The need to be right will keep you in lower vibrational states, because the lower vibrational states are an attachment to the ego as well. Now let me give you a practical example of this. You could have someone that could let go of something that happened years ago. For example, my old story with having an abusive stepmom, right? There could have been eventually an identity that is linked onto that, or a sense of feeling like that happened and it shouldn't have happened. There could have in a way been an emotional rush of acknowledging that, of the way things should be and the way things shouldn't be. And even though I might be able to, the idea is you can let go of it, maybe some people aren't ready to let go of it because they have a need to be right. This person did this. Let me show you a more practical example of this. I'll share with you two things that just happened in my life. One a couple months ago, like 4 months ago, and one just like yesterday. Now the first one from a couple months ago, I've shared this one time before. The one I'm sharing after that, I haven't ever shared before. Something happened when I was coming from Maui to Vegas. I was at Lior, and what happened was we were getting ready we had like 3 or 4 days left. We weren't going to book our trip till a couple days. We wanted to see when we felt like coming back. So what happened is we were booking our trip. We were both at this place called Maui Kombucha in Maui. Awesome place. And what we were doing is we were booking our flight going home. And what we decided is that we wanted to fly first class because it was going to be a 5-hour flight, and it was just a long travel trip from Japan to Hawaii. So we wanted to enjoy that last part of our flight. So what we did is we got on the flight. We got on the flight. Why am I jumping ahead so far? So what happened was we were at the Maui Kombucha booking our flight, and we both were starting to fill out the form. We found the first class. It wasn't that much more expensive. What happened was she pushed the button to have the transaction to go through first. Okay, it goes through. I pushed the button for my transaction to go through. It then says, I'm sorry, your transaction couldn't go through because the price has just gone up. The price went up because she booked her trip, and the way that the price works with the system is that the more tickets that sell, the more the price goes up for first class. Now, if we would have both bought it at the same time, we would have both got locked in at that price, but because we were paying with separate cards, I was paying for mine, she was paying for hers, then that's why that happened. Well, I didn't know that, so what I did is I called Expedia or whoever I booked it through, and I said, listen, we booked it at the same exact time. But what happened was, her went through first, mine went through 2 seconds later. Now I have to pay an extra $200 or $300. Could you please get it so that the price is the same as hers since we booked it at the same exact time? And then they said, no, I'm sorry, we can't because the way that it works is XYZ. We don't have power over that. And then for a couple hours, not even a couple hours, for probably about 20 to 40 minutes, was pretty irritated about it because I thought I shouldn't have to experience this. I shouldn't have to pay $200, $300 extra than her when we booked it at the same point. I started to develop this whole story that I was attached to. And here is the thing. I remained in a lower vibrational state until I realized I had a need to be right. My need to be right was causing the lower vibrational, the anger, the frustration within my energetic field. Was it that actually meant, like in reality, does it mean if you pay an extra $100 or $200-$300 extra than someone else that you have to be angry and let it decrease your vibration? No, it doesn't mean, it's not built-in meaning, but that's the meaning we generate with our story. We all have a story that we are attached to that is keeping us in low vibration. Let me ask you a question. What story is that for you? When it comes to money, love, and success, you might have a story that love doesn't come into your life easily, that people don't treat you the right way. Money, it might be that you have to try really, really hard in order to make money. Success is that you always experience these barriers and people judge you and they want you to stay the same. Whatever these stories are, the attachment to these stories are what's keeping you from manifesting what you want. So the key to this is becoming aware of those stories and simply letting them go. When I became aware of that story, everything, like immediately I felt happier because I realized that I was going to be able to share this in videos and talk about this for a while. And then I started to feel energized. Oh, this is actually kind of exciting. The $200, $300, it really isn't that big of a deal. But now I feel more empowered because I get to share this insight with people. Now, the second one I was going to share is, yesterday what happened was my buddy Victor Otto and I, we go in Vegas to a guy that trains us. He's a really cool trainer, really cool guy. And what happened is we buy 10 session packages from him, meaning we get 10 sessions. We normally go once a week. And we had 2 months ago, Victor and I got very busy. We still had one session left with this guy. Now what happened is we really like him, but this is kind of what happened. We were both I went to his house a couple days ago to watch some UFC fight. And I said, hey, let's get our last session in because I'm getting ready to move out of this house and start traveling. So let's go before I leave Vegas. Let's have our last session since we do have our last session. What happened is 2 months ago, he sent us a message, or a text message in our group message says, hey boys, let's get in for next week. What day is good for you? We said, we're sorry. I'm going to be out of town. Victor has a retreat. We're going to be a little too busy. Let's schedule it for later. And normally we just reschedule when we can. There's no you have to use it within a certain amount of weeks or anything like that. So we're like, okay, we left it at that. Now in the text messages, that was the last text that we have, because if there would have been more texts, it would have been from us meeting up and having a session. So that's where we schedule everything. So what happened was we forgot for a month and a half and we figured, oh, we'll just go back eventually. Well, yesterday, or a couple days ago when I was at Victor's, I said, okay, I'll text him and we'll figure it out. So I texted him and said, hey man, we're excited to get in our last session, blah, blah, blah. Is there a time this week that we can come in? He said, oh, so, I think we're caught up on sessions. There's no extra sessions left. And then I knew that there was still an extra session left because you can also see in the text messages, it says, hey, when are we going to schedule an appointment next week? And we said, I'm sorry, which would mean, why would you ask for us to have another session or tell us, when are we going to schedule our last session if we didn't have one? So I said, oh, really? Well, I was confused because the last text message said, let's schedule a time, and we weren't able to because we were out of town. And he said, no worries. Let me know if you guys want to buy another 10-pack session. So the way that was dealt with, I didn't really like. And the thing is if he would have dealt with it a little bit differently, both Victor and I would have loved to buy an extra 4-pack session for the last 3 weeks that I'm here. Would have done it in an instant. But because of the way the way he handled it, and it was he was obviously not wanting to give us the last session, then to me, it told me that I don't necessarily, now I almost don't want the session. Do you know what I mean? Now, here's the thing though. Yesterday, I was thinking about this, and I was starting to feel negative emotion. I was starting to get positionality. I was attached to the positionality. He should give us and be congruent to his word that he said he was going to give it. He should have, it was all these things, all these positions in the mind. My need to be right was what was keeping me in low vibration. My need to be right. So that's what I realized. Now, is he right or wrong? No. It's just I was attached to a certain perspective. You see? Now, yes, I can still choose to have boundaries and say, you know what? Sorry, don't think I'm going to go to any more sessions. I didn't like the way that was dealt with. But the key is do it with awareness and do it with a level of compassion. Still like the guy, still think he's great. Just don't choose to do business with him at this point. That's kind of the perspective that I had about it. So it's about being attached to different positionalities, because I catch myself every now and then. My mind will actually go back to it. Even I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, that was kind of annoying that I deal with that yesterday. But I'm able to observe it and to let it go and to realize that it's my ego's need to be right that is causing the lower vibrational states to where that happens. Now, the second way that attachment is blocking money, love, and success in your life, has to do with your attachment to your identity and the things that you've internalized. Now, let me give you an example of this. There are different levels of attachment. Let's say you're going to a football game. You're going to a football game, and you go to the game, and you don't really care which team wins. You just love football. One team could win, another team could win. It's all good. Now, the idea is that no matter what happens, you're going to enjoy that football game. Whether someone wins, someone loses, and you don't care which way it goes. Now, that's the least level of attachment, because then you still like football in general, but it's also that's like the most healthy form of attachment and the most loose. The next level is preference. When you prefer something that happens, it may make the game a little bit more fun. You may say, well, I want this team to win. I think that would be really cool, but still, I'm okay with it going either way. At the level of preference, it makes it a little bit more fun, but you're not really attached, and if the other team wins, you're totally cool. You can even say someone next to you that may be rooting for the other person, good game, bro, you guys won, or the other team won. So that's called preference. The third level is called identity. When you get to identity, you then start to identify with either team. You may say, I want this team to win, and if the other team wins, I don't prefer that. I want this team to win. And you may even identify with it and even wear the colors of that jersey. You may wear the jersey itself and identify with that as a part of who you are. And if one or the other one loses, you may say to the next day, oh, my team lost. My team lost. It's your team. As if you are the manager or something like that. But you see, there's a certain level of identity, and you may even come up with stories why, if someone loses, you may come up with stories and excuses as to why that other team won and your team didn't, or why your team did win. So you see, there's this level of identity there. Now, the thing is we identify with many things that have happened in our past that keep us from having that level of money, love, and success into our life. It might be the identity of believing that we are of a certain, let's say, religion, for example, certain culture, and maybe those keep us within a certain bandwidth of perception. You see, there's certain levels of identity that we have internalized that then become us and the way that we are in reality. And the key to this is not identifying with identifying with these attachments, because they will keep you in lower vibration. That person then is much more attached to the outcome. It's okay to have certain levels of identity. It's okay to identify with parts of what you do. I identify with being a YouTuber. It doesn't harm me, but let's say I identified with having a 9-to-5 job. And I've always viewed myself as having a 9-to-5 job. It would be harder for me to go full-time on YouTube because of that level of identity. So the key is to let go of past identities. For example, someone maybe want to attract money or relationships into their life, but they may see themselves. I had this girl that I knew where I used to work, and she always saw herself as like 30-something-year-old and not with anybody. She had that level of identity. She was 30 and she thought she'd be married by then. She thought she'd have kids by then, but she doesn't. That resistance, that feeling, caused that attachment to that identity was keeping her in that lower paradigm, and she had no idea. If she were to let go of that attachment, of that label, of that identity, she would then allow amazing things to come into her life. So you see, the identity many times is what causes people to be in that lower vibrational state and blocks money, love, and success from coming into their life. Now, the third attachment that is keeping you from attracting amazing things into your life is the attachment to lower vibrational people, lower vibrational activities, lower vibrational labels, all of these lower vibrational things. Now, for example, if you are attached, for a long time, I would smoke weed when I was younger, when I was, back in 2012. And I'm not saying this is the most horrible thing ever. I know it's legal where I live. I live in Las Vegas, completely legal here. But what I'm saying is, for me, I realized that for my own energy field, it would cause my energy field, I'd become much more lazy. It would cause my energy field to, in a way, I was suppressing emotion from my past it was kind of the reason I was doing it, but I wasn't necessarily completely aware of it at the time. But there were certain people that I would hang out with and I would smoke. There was certain type of way I would smoke, I would smoke, I would drink sometimes. It was causing me to perceive of a certain reality from a lower vibrational state. For example, alcohol resonates at like 270, 250. that's pretty low. It resonates at the level of courage, which is ironic because it's called liquid courage. That is considerably a lower vibrational substance. So that attachment would keep me in lower vibrational states, which of course would keep me from easily attracting money, love, and success that would come very easy at this higher level. So for me, drinking alcohol, smoking weed lowered my vibration. Once I learned how to raise my vibration by letting go of my past beliefs, like the belief I had ADHD, the belief that I had frantic energy, the belief I wasn't worthy because of my past, once I let go of the attachment to those beliefs, I then raised my vibrational set point back in 2012. And when I would do those other things, it would then lower my vibration, whereas before it would raise my vibration. So the key to what I'm saying is let go of things that are lowering your vibration. Deep fried foods, foods that are heavy, meats. These things, these heavy meats or GMO meats, these things will keep you in low vibration. And when you're in low vibration, you are then attached to those vibrational activities, to those vibrational places. It then keeps things from manifesting in your life. So do what I call a vibrational inventory. Do a vibrational inventory where you become aware of how what you think, what you feel, what you're doing is affecting your vibration. How is that affecting your energetic field? Because that will cause you to either be in a high vibration or a low vibration. And when you take inventory, you can then clear out these things. Now, one of the most powerful ways you can do this to clear out your energetic field is a process that is called Ho'oponopono. It's 4 simple statements. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I have a meditation I'm going to link below. You can listen to it while you're going to the gym with headphones. You can listen to it while you're driving. And if you do it every day for 21 days, I think it will transform your life. Read the comments to see what's possible. But what it allows you to do, and it helps you to do, is to clear out these imbalances inside of your energetic field. You have these things inside your energetic field that you can begin to clear. When you heal it, you then also heal your relationship with other people, and you also heal your past, and it is just extraordinarily powerful. I've used it with many different people in my life, and I've seen their lives transformed because the idea is that there really is no other. It's a very deep metaphysical concept. I explain more in that video though on Ho'oponopono, but listen to it for 21 days. I think it will transform your life. Other than that, if you haven't already, smash that like button. And I'm not attached to whether you do it or not, but it'll help me to know to do more videos like this. I've been sharing some esoteric concepts, but also some things that I haven't shared on the channel that much before. So if you like this video, like it, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see the daily vids that I do. It's the only way you can see the daily vids on YouTube is if you hit that notification bell. So I'm excited to share those with you. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.